Hey guys, thanks for joining me and checking out this video. I'm going to go ahead and actually show you guys how to steal the dragon egg today, or the drake egg. And a lot of you guys were pretty upset I didn't show how to actually get the egg, only where to get it. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. First thing you guys are going to need is one of these ladies right here, the Reaper Queen. If you don't know how to get them, then you're probably not going to be able to get one of these eggs. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, this is really what we're going to need here. So what you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to bring a couple of tames. You are going to need to actually prep for these. Remember, this is one of the hardest things to get in the game currently. They're not going to make it easy on you. I'm going to highly recommend you bring in one of these Ravengers and a Spino. Now with the Ravengers do take damage from the radiation, as you can see here. Now these soups, which you can go ahead and find the recipe down below in the description, will stop them from taking radiation damage. Alright guys, so go ahead and bring your tames down over here to the edge. There's a couple of things you're going to need to bring with you. Bring a gun so you can actually pull aggro from some of these drakes. Bring a pair of picks, probably 2 or 3 pair of picks. We do know they break pretty easy. Bring a crossbow, some of the zip lines, and you should be pretty good. Anything else you need, just make sure you have healing brews, things like that. Probably a backup suit as well. You'll probably need it. This is going to be the easiest way that I found to actually do this without dying. I know there's a couple other methods out there, but you're very likely to die and it's not very high success chance. This is a little bit more work, but it's much easier. So take it over here, take this Spino to the edge, and start getting ready to pull some of the aggro from these drakes. There's a couple of things before we go ahead and start pulling these drakes. Remember to keep the soup up on your Ravager. He will die from radiation if you don't do that. It's about 120 seconds. I'd recommend setting a timer. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to come over here and you're going to start pulling the aggro from any of the drakes you can see. Even if they're invisible, even if they're not right in the nest, make sure you're pulling as many as you possibly can. I'm not going to do this in this part of the video, but I'd also recommend going down the actual trail here a little bit. Take your Spino with you. Continue to pull as many of the drakes as you can, otherwise you're going to have a little bit of an issue, which you'll see what I have here in just a little bit. But as you can see, just go ahead and start shooting these drakes. They'll start coming directly over to you. Once they're over to you, just jump back on your Spino, start eating them. The Spino takes care of them, no problem. I did have this set on difficulty 4, so max level of 120 for wild dinos, which means the drakes can go up to 150, I believe. But I only spawned in a level 100 Spino, not even a max level, and then just give it some levels, which you'll see the stats here in just a moment. But it's pretty easy, especially if you do it one at a time. Even if you don't do it one at a time, the Spino takes care of them very well. Okay, so as you can see here, the stats on the Spino aren't too crazy, nothing amazing. You can definitely get better than this, no problem. So once you've actually taken the time to go ahead and get rid of a lot of these rock drakes, again, I recommend going a little ways down there, make sure you get rid of quite a few of them. You're going to go ahead and try and get these grapples into higher ground. Now, don't put them right onto the edge of the upper lip. The rock drakes can and will destroy these, so if you're walking up with a Ravager and they hit those, they're going to break, you're going to fall down, and it's going to be a really rough day for you. You have to be careful where you try and line them up. As you can see there, a couple of the spots won't stick. I recommend putting down a few of these just in case one of yours does break. Now, if you look back here, I think you may be able to walk up that area. I didn't test it, but it may be worth you to give it a shot, but for in single player. So go ahead and get a couple of these grapples up. Once you have the grapples up, go ahead and climb back up, use your picks, and get back up to the top and grab your Ravager. Remember, do keep your Ravager on these soups. If you don't have them on the soups, they can and will die. I'd highly recommend bringing down some cooked meat to keep them topped off as well. At the end of the video here, you actually see mine's going to die because I get kind of careless with it and I don't actually keep it topped off like I should. But go ahead and run down the left side of the pit here. You can do the right side as well, but it's a little bit more complicated. I recommend the left side. Once you're over here, just go ahead and follow the path down and start looking for some of the drake eggs. Now, you should have already cleared out most of the drakes in this area, but as you can see here, we found an egg. We're going to go ahead and walk over here and try and get the egg. Now, my Ravager is not too crazy, but I did pump a lot of speed into it. As you can see here are the stats. He was only a level 100 pre-tame, but it is important to make sure you have something with speed. These aren't bred, these are all normal, the Spino and the Ravager, so you should be able to do this no problem. With this, go ahead and just try and get over here. I would recommend trying to actually get into the pit with the Ravager so you can just jump straight into it. I end up missing here and landing on the ground, which you'll see. If you do that, it's not that big of a deal. Just go ahead and use your picks and get back up. Unfortunately, we run into a little bit of an issue here, which you'll see right now. While I'm getting ready to jump up, for some reason, one of the drakes falls down right on top of me. That's okay. My Ravager actually can take care of this even after the damage nerf. They still can go ahead and kill the rock drake. This is a decent level rock drake. It's not the highest level, but as you can see, he was able to kill it. I did pull out the gun here to actually finish it off a little bit quicker, but you don't necessarily have to do that. He probably would have been fine, especially if I had kept him topped off the entire time. One thing you'll notice while I'm fighting this is that his soup does get a little bit low, and I didn't refresh it before running out. I would recommend refreshing the soup before you make the run out with the egg. Again, he does take quite a bit of damage and it does stack up over time, so be very, very careful with that. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, but I'm just going to show you really, really quickly me killing this just in case you run into something similar. Okay, and as you saw there, I was able to go ahead and kill that drake pretty easily. This is the part where you're going to go ahead and make the climb back up into the egg den here and grab that egg. So once you have the egg, be very careful. You need to get out of here very, very quickly. Run down, jump, get onto your Ravager, and get moving down to the hole. As you can see, my Ravager is already pretty hurt, and again, as you can see, my soup is already almost at half, so be very careful on that. Make sure you get the soup topped off. For the most part, the Ravager can go ahead and outrun these drakes pretty easily. I would recommend jumping. It seems like they may be a little bit quicker when they jump. I didn't actually do my own advice here and clear out most of the drakes at the end of the cave, so I'm going to get a little overwhelmed here in a moment, just like you'll see. But I would actually recommend also watching my position here with the zipline. As you can see, I'm about to get a little bit stuck here because there are a lot of drakes chasing me. I didn't put it up quite high enough. I should have gone up to that next level, so it almost died trying to get into this one spot here. Luckily, I was able to sneak out, and you can kind of go up and around. Now, the point of this is you're trying to get back to your Spino as quickly as possible. Your Spino can and will deal with these rock drakes pretty easily. Again, they're very, very strong, but they're wild, so they're not going to be quite as strong as a tamed Spino. This is what I was talking about a moment ago, and as you can see, I'm getting very, very overwhelmed. These eggs are just like the wyvern eggs. They pull these things from really, really far away. This is part of the reason we went to the smaller drake den, so that we wouldn't get quite as many drakes. But if you did what I told you to do earlier and you cleared out a lot of these drakes, you won't have too much of an issue. My Spino is very, very basic. Again, it was only a level 100 pre-tame. It has maxed levels into it already, but not necessarily that big of a deal. He dealt with those very easy, not even at half health. I would recommend getting a better Spino saddle if you can. Mine's primitive, but as you can see, this was super, super easy for me and the Spino. Not a problem at all. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to actually get out of the wyvern den from here now. I didn't actually show you guys how to get in here, nor necessarily the coordinates at the beginning of the map, so I'm just going to do a quick run through on how you actually walk out of the cave here. It is possible, it's not a big deal, it's pretty easily accomplished. You're going to have to fight a lot of things on the way in and out, but this is the end game dino, right? This is probably one of the second hardest, maybe third hardest dinos to get in the game at the moment, and we're on the third map. They're not going to make this easy for you. Once you get the next rock drake, it's going to be much, much better, but at the moment you are going to want to put in some work. I'd recommend actually breeding up a Spino and maybe a Ravager or two on your way down here. I'd even actually recommend maybe bringing in an extra Spino as well, just for the mate boost. Extra damage is going to make things so much easier for you. I'm not going to do too much more talking, but I really appreciate you guys checking out this video. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you guys want to see anything else or any more content like this, just let me know what you guys want to see. I'm starting to run out of ideas for Aberration. But again, thanks for watching. If you guys liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and do some more how-tos, and thank you very much. You guys have a great night.